Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Vicky from Performing Arts Academy Wales, and with us today we have
Mia.
This video is all about how to cope with school exams and dance, yeah? And just a little disclaimer, we're not saying that we're experts on this. I'm a dance teacher, Mia's a student, and we're drawing on personal experience really, and just giving people a bit of advice and a bit of help.
So tip number one is planning ahead. So it's really important when you're revising that you look at when all your exams are and look at what nights you have dance, so you have that time to organise everything rather than at the last minute be like, I have dance tonight but I also have an exam tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think as well you need to be planning when your exams start. You need to kind of think a few months in advance of that. You can't suddenly turn around the week before your exams and be like, right, let's start.
Because if you think about it, if you have a dance competition one weekend, that's like pretty much a whole day gone, and that's out of your revision. So you need to plan that like even weeks before.
Yeah.
So you'll know.
That was something my mum always used to say to me as well. And even with stuff now, I try and put this into a practice that it's like when you're really, really busy, you never know if you're about to be ill. So you kind of need to factor that in. Not factor in being ill, but allow that time, because if you're suddenly ill and that takes out an entire day, I can't turn around to the ISTD and be like, sorry, I didn't get the exam timetable in on time, I was ill. Like, it doesn't work like that. If you've got a deadline, you've got to meet your deadline, and that's the same with anything, isn't it?
And if you're dedicated to dance, you can't at the last minute be like, sorry, I have to revise. Like, it can't really be an excuse, because you need to like work around it. If you're committed to something, you have to.
Also, if you're letting other people down as well.
Yeah.
Ooh. Right, so our second tip that we've got is, which I think this feeds nicely into, is timetable.
Yeah.
When about would you say you make your timetable?
For me, it's usually the Easter holidays. I found that every year. So this is like my third year of external exams. And for my GCSEs, I always start revising at the Easter holidays, because it's a really good place to start, because you've got the 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
You can.
I think it's one of those that, in theory, everyone thinks they're going to start revising from February half term.
No,
but that
you're
doesn't.
not
You're
going
not
to.
going to. Be realistic. But yeah, I think the beginning, maybe even the week before the Easter holidays, is when you want to do your revision timetable, ready for revising over Easter.
And the good thing about the Easter holidays and half term is that you don't have to stop going out with your friends or stop going to dance, or because you have 2 weeks essentially, and so you can be like, right, I'm going to revise for 3 hours and then I'm going to go out for a bit and then I'll look over my notes when I go home.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best time to revise.
Yeah, because you've got all that time off as
Yeah.
well. And I think when you're putting your revision timetable together, include your dance.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, make it part of your timetable, because I've already allowed for it. Make your timetable realistic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people try and be a bit optimistic with what they can actually get done.
Yeah. So like, so I finish school at 3, I'm not going to have revision 3 till 9 after school, because there's no way I'm going straight from school to revise. I go home, I need to snack, I'll like want to relax a bit and say, okay, maybe start 4:30.
Yeah.
And you have to put in breaks as well.
Yeah. And also you can't be like, I'm going to revise 3 topics in one night.
Yeah, no, because you won't learn it.
No.
You might tell yourself you've learned it, but
It won't stick.
Yeah, and that's what the timetable's for really. You see, I'll do topic 1 this morning, and later I'll do topic 2.
Yeah.
And then the next day you revisit it.
Yeah. Right, so our third tip for you, and this is one that I think is really important, and I say this about any kind of exam, so dance exams and things like this as well. There is a difference between nerves and stress. Nerves are fine. There is nothing wrong with being nervous, that's normal. And sometimes that little jitter actually helps. Stress is a complete waste of energy. And I know it's so much easier said than done, But if you can distinguish between nerves and stress, that will make things so much easier, because stressing over things is just a waste of time.
It's like if you were about to perform solo and you're stood in the wings and you're nervous, that's really good because it's the adrenaline, and then you'll probably dance really well because the nerves help you and they push you. Whereas if you're in the wings going, I don't know this step, I don't know what's after this, you're going to work yourself up, and that's when you'll go wrong. And it's the exact same for exams. If you stood outside the exam hall being like, oh, I don't know what mitochondria is, and stressing over it, like you're going to get in there and you'll stress about it in the exam, and that'll throw you off the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's good to be nervous for your exam, but there's no point stressing over it.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to let stress take over as well, and then like even then it starts affecting like your sleep and eating and things like that. Like, so this moves on to tip number 4, which is you need to look after yourself. That's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Like, it's all well and good for one of your friends to be like, oh, I haven't eaten all day because I've just been revising. Well, that's really silly. Like, that doesn't mean you should go, oh, well, she hasn't eaten all day, so I'm not going to eat. Like, that's just silly. And also, it's very tempting to just have loads of unhealthy food as well when you're revising.
You have to eat, like, brain food, because even though chocolate's nice, it's not going to really do you any favours in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to give yourself a little reward at the end of the day or maybe after an exam, then that's fine, but don't be picking away at it.
Don't have like McDonald's breakfast to start your day and then I'll have a KFC banana. It's all about moderation, really.
Yeah, but you need to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to be effectively revising at 11 o'clock at night. Go to bed.
I feel like exam season's probably, well, it's bad, but it's the most stressful time. You shouldn't stress. And like everyone's in the same position. And I feel like it's a time where people, they get really upset and like you start doubting yourself a bit more because you're like, oh, I don't know this and she knows this. And I think you need to still allow time for you to enjoy yourself and do the things you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because you need to look after yourself.
Yeah. That's a really important thing. Like, there's no point revising at 11:30 midnight, because what you're revising probably won't go in. You need to go to bed
From
and get some
experience.
sleep. Yeah. You need to go to bed and get some sleep and look after yourself, because getting a good night's sleep, especially the night before an exam, is going to be more beneficial than trying to stay up all night cramming in as much as possible.
My year tutor as well, when he was at our age revising, he said his mum always made him stop revising at say like 7 p.m. and he had to go and watch a TV programme with her and then go to bed just to take his mind off
things, yeah. And that's the great thing with dance, because if you've got your dance class, so I know it's very different, depends what year you're in, as to whether you're on study leave or not, but if you're not on study leave and you've got an evening where you've got dance and you manage to do a bit of revision before you go to dance, that having dance is going to help you sleep, because your body will be more tired and you're not going to be stressing and going over what you're trying to revise, because you've done a good workout, so you'll sleep better, because we need to exercise as humans. That's really important. There's a great article that circulates around. It always comes up on my Facebook at this time of year, and I think it's because I've got a lot of friends who are dance teachers. And I'll put the link down below in the description box for it. And it's about not letting kids quit dance and sports for school exams. What we're doing by letting people quit is telling people that exercise isn't as important, and it is. There's a great quote from it, hang on. Nia read this quote and was like, that's brilliant. And it says, an exercise habit could keep you alive for your grandchildren. Your A-level won't. Good one. I like that quote, I think it's good. I'm not saying your A-levels aren't important, but exercise is something you need to continue to do throughout your life, so don't think of it as not being a priority. Right. Everyone is different. Don't compare yourself to other people. And that is quite a broad thing, because that applies to revising. So everyone will revise in different ways. I personally used to find little note cards quite helpful, and I also used to like highlight a lot. I'd write everything out and highlight it because I found different colours were really helpful, and different colours would be linked to different things.
Yeah, that's like, I have like, it's almost like a semi-photographic memory. Like if I put something in a blue circle, I'll go into the exam and I'll be like, well that was in the blue circle, and I'll remember it. So it's about finding your way to revise, because some people are audible learners, so they record themselves like reading their notes, and then it goes in and they listen and listen.
Yeah.
So it's finding what's good for you.
What works for you. Yeah. The other thing I remember doing was one of my friends went to a different secondary school, but we were doing the same A-level text for English literature. So we both got together and exchanged notes on what our teachers had said, because it had been different stuff, even though we were doing the same syllabus, same paper. And we came up between us, because you weren't allowed to take the book into the exam, so you had to learn all your quotes that you might want to use. So we put them all into a song. So we took a song that we knew, I can't remember what it was now, but we changed all the lyrics to all these quotes. Oh, and it worked a treat.
I might do that.
It worked so well. I remember sitting in my exam, like being like, and like singing the tune, because we had all the quotes. All the quotes as this song, but it really worked. But everyone's different, so different revision techniques work with different people. And also, you don't need to compare yourself to someone else. If someone comes into school and they're like, I've been revising for 6 hours already this morning before school, you know, don't let that affect you and think, oh no, that means I need to get up tomorrow at 3 a.m. and start revising. No, you don't. You don't need to compare yourself to someone else.
And I found, like, especially with results day and stuff, I used to, because I'm not good at science or maths, like I'm just not good at the numbers, but like English and history I was good at. So all my friends who really liked the sciences were getting all A stars, and I had like my A's and B's, and I was like, that's fine, like that was really good for me. And I don't care that my friends got A stars, like obviously I was happy for them, but I'm not gonna be like, well she got an A star so I need to get an A star now. Like, because everyone has their different strengths.
I mean, in an ideal world, I think everyone would love to get straight A stars in everything, but then it devalues an A star if everyone was getting A stars in everything. So everyone's different. If I think back to everyone that I went to school with, I don't think anyone is doing now what I'm doing. I didn't know this is what I wanted to do when I went to school. And I don't even know if anyone's doing the same job as each other. I think even people that went off to university and did the same courses, or went off and did the same stuff, isn't doing the same stuff now, because everyone's different. So it doesn't matter. You know, you work for you. Your teachers want you to get the best mark you can, and your parents want you to get the best mark you can. But not everyone is a straight A star student. And you don't have to be.
It's nice if you are.
Yeah, it's nice if you are, but
It's
you
not
don't have to
necessary.
be to succeed at life. So, right, we're digressing a little bit from science, aren't we? These are all great revision tips now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Tip number 6
is the distinction between discipline and motivation. So we were saying earlier, no one wants to revise. Like, no one wakes up in the morning and I can't wait to revise. I can't wait to write this essay. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's not fun.
And does anyone really want to be like, oh, I don't want to go to dance, I'd rather sit at home revising?
Yeah, like, sometimes you feel like you should sit at home revising, but it's not always the best thing to do.
So I think you feel like you need to be motivated to revise. But I don't think it's motivation, it's discipline. So it's knowing that you've done your timetable and you're going to stick to it. So your alarm goes off, it's the discipline of knowing I'm going to get up. It's the discipline of knowing, right, I'm going to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and then I'm going to get my notes out. Or, you know, it's that discipline rather than motivation.
Yeah. Well, I was guilty of that on study leave this year. I'd have days like I'd wake up at 11 a.m. and I'd be like, oh, well, I may as well have my brunch now. And then I'd like I didn't tell myself like, look, you need to start revising now. Because I was like, I want to study, if I can do what I want. I'd spend the whole day like lounging around, watching TV, that I'm getting ready to revise. And it's not, you just need to tell yourself when you're revising.
Yeah, you just get up and get on.
And turn off your phone.
Yes. Oh, that was the other one. There's a great app. If you really struggle with knowing when to stop, like if you do your revision timetable and you put like, oh, I'm going to do an hour and then a 10-minute break or whatever, and that's not working for you, first of all, that's fine. Secondly, there's an app called Focus Keeper, and it's great. I sometimes use it because I can be quite guilty of working and then not stopping and then just crashing and then not being able to do anything for like an hour and a half, which is just a waste of time. And you can set it and it will give you a timer that will go off, and then it will also time your break. So it will tell you when to stop working and tell you when to start working again. It's great, it's really good.
If you're like me and you're very competitive, there's an app, I think it's called Forest or something, where you connect with your friends on Facebook and you compete. Well, this is kind of going against not comparing yourself to others, but you say I can do 30 minutes of revision, you put it in, and then your tree has 30 minutes to grow, and if you go on your phone, then your tree will die. And then, so like at the end of the week, you have like a leaderboard and it says like who has how many trees, but you set how long you want to revise, because like realistically you can't be like, I'm going to revise for 3 hours.
No.
Like, so your tree's dependent on what you get in.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that your dance is going to help you, not hinder you. Now, this article actually is written by someone who also went to Exeter University. Oh. At times of stress, we should be helping people to manage stress and boost brain function. Oh, sorry, it sounds on my phone. And that exercise boosts brain function.
Oxytocins.
There it is. It's been a while since my exam.
Well, I just feel a lot happier after dance. Like, whenever I'm having a bad day, like, and I know I've got dance, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because it takes your mind off stuff, and I think that's the best thing when you're revising. You need to take your mind off it for a bit. You can't be thinking about the same thing over and over again. You need to go and enjoy yourself.
And if you have a break, even if you're like, oh, I'm going to have a cup of tea and I'm going to sit in the other room for a bit, and, you know, do you really switch off from it? Or are you then starting to think about what you're doing next? And doing, by dancing as well, is going to completely get you out of the house. It's going to give you a complete switch off.
It's a win-win, because you see your friends.
And me.
You see your friends and you do exercise, which is really important. So there's not really any cons to it, providing you've planned it in with your day. It's nothing but benefits, really.
Yeah. And are you really going to fail your exam because you went to a couple of dance classes?
And if you don't know it the night before your exam, you don't know it, so just go to dance instead.
Do you know what? I always am a big believer in going to dance the night before an exam, because I always think cramming is like really unhealthy, and because all it does is encourage stress. And I think by going to dance the night before an exam, if you have a dance class the night before an exam, but I always used to find this, it completely takes your mind off it, and it helps you focus, and I just would feel mentally more prepared, because it would help me get a good night's sleep, and I'd wake up feeling refreshed. And I remember walking into school, I think it was GCSEs, and there were people there who were like, oh, I've been up all night cramming, and it was like,
you won't remember it.
You won't remember it. And I remember thinking, gosh, they look tired. And they look like they're half asleep halfway through their exam. That's not good. Cramming is not good. But if you plan ahead, it'll be good. Alright guys, well, I hope you have enjoyed watching our video, and we hope you found it helpful. Go do your revision timetable now. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!